Julie, this is Paul. You're in part 2 of the 5-part series that will help you successfully conquer Umling. And welcome to this video. Before we go on, remember to give this video a thumbs up. There's a subscribe button below. Remember to hit that subscribe and share this with your friends. On this video, we're going to be looking at the kind of gear that you need to get for yourself, the kind of precautions that you need to take, how to prepare yourself for the ride, equipment you need to carry, maybe medication you need to carry, how you can prepare yourself for a ride. It's going to be quite a few days. It's going to be a strenuous ride. It's going to be a really exciting ride and an amazing ride. So you need to prepare yourself for the ride. If you're not prepared, you're going to have a difficult time. First and foremost, your bike has to be in good condition. So get your bike serviced. If you're riding an Enfield, you might find help in several places, but other bikes, you may not get any help anywhere. In fact, if you're riding one of the Yazdi's or the Javas or Hondas, people will not even touch your bike. So make sure your bike is in good condition. You don't want to get stuck in the middle of nowhere without help, and the next rider that comes by may come after quite a long time. So by the time you get help, it will be very late. When you ride, it's advisable to change your spark plugs, especially if it's run quite a bit, like maybe over 8,000 kilometers. Please change your spark plugs. Put a new spark plug before you ride. Maybe get your accelerator cables and your clutch cable replaced. It's always good to ride with new cables. If your tires are worn out, change your tires. And you might want to consider filling them with sealant gel, because you don't want to get a flat. If you have a puncture with the sealant gel, you can just pull out the nail and or thorn or whatever it is, and it'll seal. You can just inflate your tires and keep going. So remember, that's a very, very helpful. Fill sealant in your tires. If you have tires that are designed for tarmac, consider changing it to tires that have some buttons, because you will do a lot of off-road. There are some places there is no road. Well, you can go with stock tires as long as your tires are in good condition. One thing we often forget is to check the battery. So if your battery is old or if it is showing signs of weakness, please change your battery. You don't want to be stuck in Ladakh with a dead battery. If you don't have a pillion, if you're riding solo, you can consider taking a tail bag. That is probably more convenient to use than saddlebags and top rack. So consider the tail bag, that may be better. The other thing also is that you need to balance the weight on your bike. So if you have too much of back weight, you'll find it difficult. You can distribute a part of that weight onto your tank bag, and the tank bag actually is the most convenient piece of storage that you can take on your bike. The next thing is, and the very important thing is, what tools you must carry or you need to carry. Firstly, a small tire inflator is a good idea. Don't think of taking a manual foot pump or something. You cannot pump your tire. The air is thin, you'll get out of breath in no time. An automatic tire inflator is a good idea. Consider buying one if you don't have one. It's not very expensive. I'll leave a link to a cheap one in the description. The second thing you need to carry is a spanner for your wheel. It's usually a 22 size spanner. Just check the correct size for your bike and carry one spanner. Carry also a set of either adjustable pliers or pliers, because you will need it if you have to tighten your chain anywhere along the line, or if you need it to tighten some screws or bolts, you'll need the spanner and the pliers. So please carry those with you. I think the closest petrol pump from Hanle is Karu, and that's about 6 hours ride away. So you want to carry fuel. Of course, you will get open market petrol in a lot of places. Almost every town that you cross, you will get open market petrol, but it's not guaranteed to be pure. So if your plugs get clogged or your injectors get clogged, you're in for trouble. So keep that in mind. If you're riding from Manali, as of 2022 June, the last petrol bunk was Keelong. But there were 2 bunks that were under construction, one at Zingzingbar and one at Nyoma. The reports so far are that both of them have not yet opened. So if they open by the time you ride past them, you can tank up. But if they are not, make sure you fill, if you're going from Manali, fill your tanks at Keelong. That's the last bunk you will find. The fifth thing that you need to take is whatever extra accessories that you want to take. Maybe an action cam, your phone mount, the selfie stick, knuckle guards, extra lights. You shouldn't require extra lights. You shouldn't be riding in the dark. It's always safe to ride during the day. Avoid night riding at all costs. The landscape is absolutely breathtaking. So if you want to take a good camera, something that can capture excellent color, go for it. The other thing is that Hanle is one of the best places to view the night sky. So if you have a camera that can capture the Milky Way, some people have got amazing pictures and clips of the Milky Way. So keep that in mind. A good camera will be an accessory that you probably want to carry. Okay, that's with the bike. Now the accessories or the gear that you need for yourself. First of all, you need a good riding jacket. It's advisable to buy a riding jacket. A good one will cost you somewhere in the range of 8,000 rupees or maybe a little more. So be prepared for that. Now, if you don't want to spend your money on a riding jacket, consider a good jacket and buy yourself a set of guards. You get elbow guards and knee guards. I'll leave a link to it in the description. You can buy them. They're only around 1,000 rupees for the set. And those are good. You can use those. If you have a good jacket that will keep you warm and protect you from the wind and the cold, that will do. Now, if you are buying a jacket, make sure your jacket has a thermal lining, because it gets very, very cold in Ladakh. The temperatures can go negative, sub-zero. So prepare for a cold ride. You need a warm jacket. Now, that's apart from the thermal liners, the thermal inners that you wear and the warm clothing that you wear. So you will need multiple layers of warm clothing along with your jacket, even if your jacket has a thermal lining. Shoes. You need some kind of good riding shoes. Either you buy yourself a pair of riding shoes, or you can get army boots or something that's a little taller and covers beyond your ankle. Prefer also something that dries quickly, because if it gets wet, it's very difficult to dry and you can't ride with wet footwear. So look for some kind of quick drying, synthetic is fine, some good boots that you can use for riding. It's a worthwhile investment. You can ride in jeans, but you do get riding denims. If you can buy yourself a pair of riding denims, there's nothing like it. But you can wear some tight-fitting jeans, and along with your tight-fitting jeans, wear your knee guards. That should do. You can skip buying pants as well. The fourth thing that you want to get yourself is a good pair of riding gloves. Now, Ladakh is very cold. So if you're buying gloves to ride, make sure you get snow gloves, because they are waterproof and they will withstand cold below 0 degrees. So buy yourself a pair of snow riding gloves. You can get various snow riding gloves starting from about 300-400 rupees to several thousands. What you take is up to you. Just make sure it is waterproof and it is warm. The thing that you want to be careful when you pick is your underwear. Now, I know people won't tell you about underwear, but see, you're going to be riding for a considerably long time, and sometimes you'll probably be riding for 4, 5, 7, 8 hours a day. And if your underwear is tight, or it's got thick elastic, it will be very uncomfortable as you ride. So find something that has preferably thin elastic, something that's comfortable, something that won't cut you when you sit on your seat for a long time. So pick your underwear. The second thing is that underwear also is what keeps you warmest. It's the clothes that you wear closest to your body that keep you the warmest. So make sure you have something that's good, that fits you well. You may not want something loose. Something that fits you snugly is probably the best thing to wear. And sixthly, you need warm clothing. So I would suggest that you take 2 or 3 pairs of thermal inners. You may not be able to use the same thing continuously. You have to change them now and then. So take 2 or 3 pairs of thermal inners, top and bottom. You will need them. It is cold. The only way you can keep warm is not by putting on heavy warm clothing. Multiple layers are what help you the best. So consider taking multiple layers. If it gets too warm, you can take off the outermost layer, but you'll probably need at least 3 or 4 layers, at least. This is without your jacket or your riding pants. So we looked at the accessories you need for your bike. We looked at the gear that you need for yourself. And now we'll look at the kind of medication that you need to carry, or preventive medication that you need to carry. First thing that you need to be aware of is AMS, or acute mountain sickness, or altitude sickness. Now this happens because of altitude, and don't think that you've been, up the mountain several times and you can manage altitude. Everybody is prone to AMS. It's better to take precautions than to suffer AMS. It's not a nice thing to have. Once AMS sets in, the only treatment for AMS is to reduce your altitude. So you need to just come back down. So it's better if you are prepared to not have AMS than to get sick and then have to come back down, and it's going to be difficult. The first thing that you need is water, and plenty of water. It's cold, you won't feel thirsty, you don't sweat. But if you don't drink enough water, you will get dehydrated very quickly. And if you don't drink enough water, you make yourself much more prone to AMS than if you do drink water. So you need 3 to 4 liters at least every day. At least 3 to 4 liters every day, and make sure you drink that much, even if you have to force yourself to drink that much. If you ask the locals what's the best medicine for anything, they'll tell you water. Drink water. Plan to carry water. You may not get water everywhere, but places that you stay, you will definitely get water. You may not get packaged water, but you will get water. So fill up your bottles and carry it with you. Now you're going to be likely going to be in Ladakh for a few days. So you probably want to carry an antibiotic that you can take in case of an emergency. So I would suggest that you check with your doctor and you tell your doctor that you're going to be in Ladakh for so long, and to recommend an antibiotic, a course of antibiotic that you can take just in case you do fall sick. Call your doctor from the nearest place you have coverage, and check with your doctor and start the antibiotic. The faster you treat it, the better it is. Another very, very important thing you need for this ride is a riding buddy. I know there are a lot of guys who go solo, and a lot of people like to go solo, but remember, you're going to the middle of nowhere. So if you actually land up with difficulty in the middle of nowhere, you're in trouble. And it's a biblical principle. 2 are always better than 1. You'll have a better ride, you'll enjoy yourself, you'll have company. So make sure you have a riding buddy. This is my riding buddy who came with me last time. This is Dan. I'm leaving a link to his channel as well down in the description, so you can follow him as well. Find yourself a riding buddy. If you can go with a group, it's good. If you don't get a group, see, there are some places like Rohtang where you need a group to go past, otherwise they don't let you go through. So make sure if you can either go with a group, or at least one person who will ride with you. And I'm not talking of a pillion alone. Many people have done that as well. One more bike who will ride with you, or another vehicle that will ride with you. And you need a riding buddy. It's always advisable not to go alone. In this video, we have looked at the kind of preparations that you need to do to reach Umling. This is part 2. In the next part, that's part 3, we will be looking at the different routes that we can take to reach Umling, both from Leh and from Manali. So stay tuned. I'll see you in the next video. Jule!